Hello, this is Andrew with Mammalian.bike, and this is a SUNringlé Mulefüt 80 fat tire, and it is a source of massive frustration for me. This wheel on the front here, set up tubeless just fine. This wheel, on the other hand, has been a real pain. And the reason why, or at least the reason I think why, is because of the seam here. The seam here, and hopefully let's zoom in on here a little bit. Let's zoom in here a little bit on there. You can see that it doesn't line up. If you look from here, you can hear that when I move my finger across it. It doesn't line up on this side, and it doesn't line up here. It weeps sealant through this joint here, and it never really seals properly. Even though it'll seal a little bit. Even worse on the inside here. It'll seal a little bit, good enough that, as I'm not on the bike, it works. And most of the time it works, but then, something will happen where the rim, because this joint isn't fitted properly, it probably flexes, and then whatever sealant that was in there kind of gets pushed out, and then the rim leaks, and then I have a flat tire, and it's super annoying. I contacted Hayes, which owns SUNringlé, and they were like, yeah, that happens. And it kind of blows my mind. Well, one, that they would build a wheel like that the joint isn't sealed. Two, this is a tubeless ready wheel, and it came from the factory with such a subpar, actually came on this Cannondale bike here, from the factory with such a horrible tape job that it just kind of, the tape just kind of fell off. I rode it for a week that way, and it just wouldn't seal at all properly. And so I just retaped it, and it's been better, but still not good enough, probably because of that seam there that's just not connected properly. So I contacted them. They told me to try something, and so we're going to try that. But I'm also going to retape this in a much fuller way so that hopefully I can put all these problems to bed and it can just work. And the thing that they suggested was to take a piece of tape like this or tape the seam. So that's what I'm going to do. Fully into the rim bed, or into the bead, the hook bed here, so that we can use tape to seal that up, so that hopefully it no longer leaks. And then the second thing I'm going to do, because as you can see here, zoom in there, hopefully you can see that there's little holes here in the place where the tire bead goes, just underneath the hook. I'm going to tape those too. I'm going to tape the entire bed of the rim here, because what happens a little bit is that sealant gets in these holes. And I think that's causing some problems too. It's just a bizarre, it's a bizarre design all around. And it's bizarre that you kind of have to do all this stuff. And if you have to do it, why it doesn't come from the factory taped that way. But I digress. So the way I'm going to do this, you can still see it's still weeping, even though I cleaned this several times from these holes that have just collected tons of sealant. I don't think it's a problem that there's sealant in here per se, but it is clearly demonstrates that something's not awesome with the design of this rim. All right, so the wheel's going to turn this way. So we are going to start our taping that way. And the objective here, starting from the valve stem, of course, to the side of the valve stem, is to get this down in the place where the tires in the bed here. Alright, so now we're back to our valve stem. Make sure that's down all the way. And now we want to kind of shift over to this side, because yeah, this side now is a little bit uncovered. I'm just going to cover that up too. Just so we make sure that we have a full side to side covering of tape. So valve core here, or valve stem core here. So you're going to go past that like you would on any other time. And just make sure you have a good overlap. And kind of end it on a spoke hole. Okay, so final step. X-Acto blade. Cut this. And I'm just, using my fingers to make sure that I push this inside the hook. It's not unique to this. Basically, you just use something sharp to punch through the valve hole. Once your valve stem is mounted on there, you would you just mount the tire like you would normally. So back with the fat bike, talking about the taping to solve the leaking problem on that rear rim for this SUNringlé Mulefüt 80. As you can see, these are different tires than I had originally when I taped them up. And the reason why that is because I only rode the bike once after taping it with the studded tires, because then winter was suddenly done and it was not winter anymore. Dismounting, remounting the tires, or swapping the tires from the studs to these summer tires, well, not winter tires, was pretty straightforward, very normal. Tape survived it, and tires have been holding air perfectly for several months now. And while I'm not pleased that I had to do that, I am pleased that it fixed the problem and I don't have to do a warranty exchange on these rims or get a new set of rims, because SUNringlé doesn't know how to put a rim together properly. Pretty straightforward. Glad it worked. Hope you found that useful. If you did, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below and I will get to them as soon as I can. Thanks.